We're going to replace the blower motor resistor assembly on this '02 Chevy Impala. If your fan blower only works on high and none or some of the other speeds aren't working properly, it's probably the blower motor resistor assembly that's at fault. It's hardly ever the switch. It's located under the dash on the passenger side of the vehicle. Remove this panel under the dashboard on the passenger side. If you want to do some more troubleshooting before replacing this part, check out this guy's video on the blower motor circuit. You can remove the glove box, release the glove box door tensioner, press these stops in on both sides of the glove box, and you can tilt it all the way down. But first you'll have to remove some screws from the glove box hinge. Two of these screws are shorter than the others. Now you can tilt the glove box all the way down and remove it. So let's take a look. Here we can see the blower motor, and the blower motor has a squirrel cage fan that's on a shaft up inside the round part of the housing there. And above that is the air box. And the part we're looking for is between this blower motor and the firewall, right up in there. Here we can see the wire that supplies power to the blower motor leading from that resistor assembly. Open this clip on the wire loom and move those wires to the side. Let's take a look at the replacement part, see what we're working with. The first thing we see is that the mounting holes are slotted. We're definitely going to want to take advantage of that. The side with two mounting holes is located next to the firewall. Those two screws I'm only going to loosen. Then the screw closest towards me I'll remove all the way, and I'll be able to tilt the assembly and slide it out of its hole. So you can see here I have removed the old part. You can see the two mounting screws towards the firewall are still in place. They've only been loosened about 3 revolutions. And I've also cut away some of the sound deadening mat to give me a little clearance to get those screws loose. There was very little clearance for accessing those mounting screws. Let's take a look at some of the steps I had to take to get this part out of there. The sound deadening mat that lines the floorboard of the car, it's a nice mat, but it took up all of the room between this resistor assembly and the firewall. I found it a real challenge to try to get any parts in there. You can see here that the mat is pressed right up against the resistor assembly and covers the two screws that are closest to the firewall. I cut away some of the mat. I pulled out the foam with this hook that I had fabricated. I actually fabricated this hook so I could reach up in there and release the clip on the wire harness. This U-joint was the only tool I could get to reach up in there, and even then it barely fit. It was quite a challenge. This is a 5.5 millimeter socket, and here's a picture of this little hook we fabricated. Cutting that mat wasn't my first choice, but I couldn't see any other way to do it. I installed the new part, tightened up the screws, plugged in the harness, put everything back together. It was a pretty good challenge, but now it works the way it was designed.